Hello everyone. In this video, we are diving into a quick walkthrough of an app we have built called AI Playground, a simple chatbot interface powered by some seriously smart technology behind the scenes. But don't worry, we are not going deep into the technical details just yet. This is all about giving you a feel for what's possible when you bring together just a few key tools to build your own AI chatbot, something you can interact with, tweak, and experiment in real time. So what you are seeing here is the main chat interface of the AI Playground. Clean, lightweight, and super simple to use thanks to Streamlit, which makes creating these web apps incredibly fast and easy. Now, before we start chatting with the bot, let's talk about one important thing. You will notice here something called the system prompt. This little box might not look like much, but it plays a huge role in how your chatbot behaves. The system prompt is kind of like setting the personality of the job description of your AI assistant before the conversation begins. You can think of it as the bot's mindset, whether you want it to behave like a helpful tutor or financial advisor, or a casual friend, or even a strict auditor. Changing the system prompt allows you to control the tone, style, and focus of the chats, and that can be a game changer for testing different use cases or guiding more accurate responses. Now, let me give you a quick rundown of the tech stack that powers this whole thing without overwhelming you. First, Python, that's the core language running the logic behind the scenes. It's handling data processing, the integration with the AI model, and more. Next is Streamlit, which you are seeing in action right now here. It's an open source Python library that makes it easy to build web apps from machine learning and data science things. It handles the layout and the interactivity you see here. And finally, the brains of the operation, Azure OpenAI. This is where the GPT-4o, for example, in this case, state-of-the-art language model that gives our chatbot its ability to understand and generate human-like responses. All three of these technologies work together to bring AI Playground to life. Simple setup, but powerful results. All right, now that you have seen the chatbot interface, let's take a quick look under the hood and talk about how to actually deploy a GPT model like GPT-4o using Azure Cloud. But don't worry, I'll keep it simple and human-friendly, so you don't need to be a cloud engineer to follow along. Okay, so first things first. So to use Azure services, you need an Azure subscription. In this case, I'm using the pay-as-you-go plan. And that basically means you only pay for what you use beyond the fee monthly limits that Microsoft gives you. This plan is super flexible, especially for the small scale projects or experimentations. So after setting up the proper Azure subscription plan, let's create a resource group. So once you are inside the Azure portal, the next step is to create a resource group. Think of a resource group as a folder where you keep all the related stuff for your project, like models, storage, and endpoints. And you can choose a specific region where it's all located. I have a pro tip for you, so make sure you pick a region where Azure OpenAI is supported or you don't have any data privacy or compliance or regulatory issue. Next, we create an Azure OpenAI resource inside that group which we have just created. This is basically your gateway to all the OpenAI models hosted on Azure, like GPT-4, GPT-4o, etc. So now it gets fun. It's ready. Head over to the Azure OpenAI Studio, and this is a kind of like control center where you manage models, test prompts, and set up deployments. Inside the studio, go to the deployments section, click on deploy model, and from that, deploy base model, and then look for GPT-4o. You might ask why GPT-4o? I am not going to details about GPT-4o, but this is like a very good model for text extraction tasks because it combines the high accuracy with fast response time and lower cost compared to previous models. And it benefits from high advanced language understanding, which allows it to handle complex document structures and extract meaningful information with minimal prompt engineering. So you can test it in chat. Once it's deployed, you can jump into the chat section inside the Azure OpenAI Studio to test it out. Just type a message and see how the model responds. Like a mini playground right inside the cloud. So, model is ready to use now. If everything works smoothly in that chat environment and in Azure AI Studio, now I can say congratulations, your GPT-4o model is now deployed and ready to go. You can start using it in your app like Streamlit chatbot we saw earlier. So, as I said, we will connect this model to our chatbot app and show how it all comes together behind the scenes. So we need now to grab our API key and endpoint of this model. So we are jumping back into the Azure portal right inside the resource group we created earlier. From there, we head into our Azure OpenAI resource, and this is where we can grab two important things, the API key and the endpoint URL. You'll need both of these to connect your app to the GPT-4o model we just deployed. Okay. Now go ahead and let's see how can we proceed. As I mentioned earlier, this project used Python as a backend and Streamlit for the front end. I'm opening the project using Visual Studio Code, but feel free to use whatever code editor you like. The project is already prepared and structured, so we don't need to write any code right now from scratch here. All I have to do is just copy and paste the credentials into the simple environmental file like this. And that's it. Just save and we are good to go. Now, the fun part, running the app. In this terminal, I simply type streamlit run main. This is a Python file, py extension, emphasize that the main, this is our main Python code. So, and just like that, Streamlit launches the app in my local browser or something like localhost with port 8501. You'll see the familiar chat interface we saw earlier, but now it's live and actually connected to GPT-4o model we deployed in Azure. Interesting. So let's give it a query just to test things out. And boom. As you can see, it responds smoothly, just like we expected. The GPT-4o model is working behind the scenes, handling everything through the cloud. So the next question might be how to deploy the app. Now you might be wondering, what if you want to share this app with others or make it available online? Here are 3 easy ways to deploy it, depending on your needs. One is Streamlit Community Cloud. This is great for quick sharing and testing with others. You can check the URL for more information. The other option would be Docker plus local server. It is perfect if you are inside a company and just want internal access. This is very secure and controlled. And the last recommendation here is Azure App Service. This is more for enterprise level, as mentioned here. but this is very reliable and scalable and fully managed in Azure environment. And that's it. Thanks for your attention. If you need any further help or have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to zapliance. We are always happy to support you.